A shooting in Springfield leaving one person dead. Welcome to Western Mass News at 5 o'clock. I'm Mary Wilson. That shooting happened last night on Allen Street. Western Mass News reporter Glenn Kittle joins us live in studio with the latest. Glenn?
Mary, the shooting happened near the Wave gas station on the corner of Allen Street and Orange Street. Police say the two people involved in the shooting knew each other.
On New Year's Day, police responded to a deadly shooting on Allen Street where one person died. Springfield Public Information Officer Ryan Walsh tweeted more details about the scenes when officers arrived, saying in part, quote, "Officers located an adult male gunshot victim who was transported to Bay State and later succumbed to his injuries. The other person involved remained on the scene. The two parties knew each other. Officers recovered 2 firearms. No arrests have been made at this time." Springfield Mayor Dominic Sarno tells Western Mass News he has been briefed with the details of the shooting. He sends his condolences to the families involved and hopes the investigation will unveil more information.
Well, it's unfortunate this occurred. My sympathy, thoughts, and prayers go out to the affected families. I have full confidence in the police department that they'll be able to move forward to delineate what occurred here and what did not happen here.
The incident is currently under investigation by Springfield Police and Hampden County DA. Walsh, in another tweet, says in part, quote, "This is an ongoing investigation conducted by Springfield Police Homicide Unit under the direction of Captain Trent Duda in conjunction with the Hampden District Attorney's Office."
Police have not revealed any more information about this case at the time. We'll continue to update you with the latest information on the air and online as it enters our newsroom. Reporting live in the studio, Glenn Kittle, Western Mass News.